So I'm joined now on the couch by Somnath Chatterjee from Capgemini. Somnath, thanks very much for being here. Just tell me a little bit about your role and about Capgemini.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm part of the global sector team for Capgemini utility sector, and I also lead the sector initiatives in India and APAC. I drive a center of excellence in India, which is called Calorie, which focuses on creating assets, helping our global SMEs, and also helping in the delivery of projects.
Give me your sense of where the utilities market is in Europe today. Feels to me that we've been through a extraordinary amount of change, of flux, either driven by government or driven by public demand for sustainable technologies. What is your take on the utilities market today?
Yeah, the utilities market, which didn't move much for last 100 years, has started moving very fast, and this move will continue for next 10-20 years, and it's a journey. See, what has happened is there are various drivers. One is previously we used to generate electricity whenever there is a demand, and it's not going to be like that anymore. So you can't keep on creating generating stations as you want, because there are other environmental and pollution that you are going to generate out of it. So that is one. So there are pressures from government, there's pressure from regulators, there's pressure from environmentalists. So the way we look at a utility industry is going to change, and this change is going to continue. I would see that we will have more and more engagements around renewables, we'll have more and more engagements around energy conservation, and probably smart metering is the platform that will drive all these new changes.
Let's talk about smart metering in a moment, but you talked about renewables. What particular impact, what particular challenge do renewables have on the traditional grid?
See, first thing is when you have too much of renewables, first thing we have to do is to look at grid stability. So you can't really pump in as much as renewables you want into the grid, because you have to make the mix and match right so that you have a stable grid. It's basically balancing your load with generation. So that's optimally how you can balance your load with generation. That's the name of the game. And to do that, you have to have a decent mix of renewables. Renewables can be solar, it can be wind, it can be other sources of renewable. The bad part of renewable is it's many a times not predictable. The generation capacity is not predictable. And so you have to match your renewable generation with your load and your conventional generation capacity.
And do you think utilities as a whole are taking renewables seriously? Is that forming part of what?
Oh yeah, of course. See, most of the European countries have committed to generate 20% from renewables by 2020. And I think that's a very feasible target, because 20%, or if we go too high on renewable, then you might have problems with grid stability, but 20% is the right mix to have renewables.
And do you think that would have happened without government intervention, without the European Union intervention?
It would have been difficult, because renewables needs a lot of investment, upfront investment to come in. So support from the government is very much essential.